union negotiations, if this doesn't go away in union negotiations, here again, in 10 years, I'm gonna have to look at my chief deputy and come to the salary board and
Well,
say,
that's what we're saying that you can do. That's why the merit raise is gonna be there. If it doesn't go away in union negotiations, you have the merit raise to come back to us and say, hey, Mark needs this, or my chief deputy needs this.
Right.
And we ought to want to do that. We ought to want to do
yeah, and I recognize, Diane, you all were all elected officials, and our first responsibility is to be responsible to the taxpayers. If I have to be the quote-unquote bad guy and to be responsible to the taxpayers who elected all of us, then so be it.
But there has to be a balance, Mike. We're all responsible to the taxpayers, but being responsible to the taxpayers means that we have to run an efficient organization. To run an efficient organization, you have to have employees who are treated fairly.
Thank you, I agree.
I agree.
And confident.
Exactly.
Chief deputy. I'm gonna advertise for this job, but it just.
That's my problem, it shouldn't be.
That salary's still gonna be at 21,000. I mean, I'm not gonna probably ever find it. I wanted to bring that up. So
Well,
we need to talk about
We'll
that.
have to address that when you come back to us with results from your search.
Why do that? Why do that?
But that's the whole point. Go out and search it, and then, you know, come back.
If you have a guy who you think would be equal to Denny Treziak, I'm sorry, bringing up names again, but your chief deputy, everybody knows who your chief deputy is. But if you find somebody comparable to him with experience and everything, and they want more money to come to work for you, then you come back and we'll look at it,
So I want that.
right?
But
Yes,
as of right
absolutely.
now,
Absolutely
as of right
agree with
now,
that.
I could hire, correct?
At that rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with some of these positions, it
I
should
I
be,
thought that, I mean, I didn't really know that.
let's go out and see if we can find somebody with the minimum requirements that can do the job at the possibly the lower end. And if you can't find anybody, then come back, but that's why we need the policy. But it shouldn't be just, well, I can right off the bat start, try to find somebody with 5 or 10 years.
Well, at first.
It may be necessary.
When we talked about this, we were talking, well, who's gonna take this job for 24 hours, 7 days a week? You know, who's gonna take it?
Yeah.
So
But that's-
that's what, the only reason I brought it up is we talked about it before, who's gonna take this job?
That's why there needs to be, you know, a policy in place for those exceptions. Because it may, like Carmen came yesterday and, you know, Gary mentioned one of his employees, he may need to find right off the bat somebody with 5 years experience, 10 years. But with some of these positions, I would argue that if you find somebody with the basic minimum requirements, start them off at the lower end, as it relates to non-management positions.
Okay. Are we
That's
done?
all we have for
We have
discussion.
our
Would you
we
like-
have your marching orders.
Yes, sir.
Conference time.
Conference
Yes,
time
would you
with
like
the
to-
media. Start with Kayla.
I
today.
do have one question. If you do, when you do set these ranges and you make the corrections in terms of employees being underpaid, and you bump those people up, can the county budget handle that? Or does that warrant a possible tax increase in the future?
Well, first of all, who knows whether it'll increase. I don't think it will at this point. We have some things going on. We have the sale of Sunview pending. If we can work out suitable arrangements with the purchaser. We have a bond refinancing coming up in April, isn't it, Kim?
March.
March,
Yeah, March, April.
which will save us, what do we predict?
We're a healthy refund.
A healthy refund, okay?
So you don't see that, you don't foresee that happening?
I hope not. And we have continual growth in Butler County, which is going to result in maybe $700,000-800,000 in new tax increases. Of course, this is far beyond my time in the commission, but in 2026, which really isn't that far away, the bond in the jail will be paid off. And we're spending almost over $5 million a year on business. So figuring in $5 million a year on that, that's equivalent to over 3 meals of tax. So there's a lot of things coming up here that are going to put us in a good financial position as we go on.
Thank you, and this is a little retroactive question, I should say, but how did you pick, why did you pick the Archer Company to do this study? How did you come across that pick?
Kim,
Yeah,
can you?
yeah, we did, we received approximately 12 RFPs.
and the commissioners went through them all, and that's, you know,
It was based on
Based on
price
their-
and experience
price and
Okay.
experience.
and locality. We didn't want to hire, some of them were from people way off, we didn't want to have to pay them
Right.
travel time to back and forth to Butler.
I think everybody agreed it was a very reputable company. I
Yeah.
didn't have any problem with that at all. I have a faith they did a good job.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.
And Kayla, just to address your first concern, you know, as a controller of the budget that's the responsibility of the commissioners. But as a fiscal watchdog and as a member of the salary board, I would not support something if I felt it was going to merit a tax increase. That, as everybody knows, I'm opposed to tax increases.
Okay, thank you very much.
Tom,
I have nothing, thank you.
all right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So,
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Bad road to go down.
Ask what you say you're gonna ask.
I think my
Get
bad.
qualified ahead of time.
Hey, Mike.
Wow, it's still good.